It all happened in a blink. One moment, Sandra was holding a cup of coffee and walking toward her desk. The next, her skirt had been yanked down in front of the entire office floor. Laughter erupted. Cameras flashed. Her cheeks burned with humiliation. The worst part? No one helped her. In fact, a few colleagues laughed louder, like it was some kind of joke. But no one knew what was coming next. They didn't know who her husband was, and they didn't know he was about to walk through that door. Let's dip in. Sandra Jackson had just joined Maxwell & Company, one of the biggest real estate firms in the city. She was smart, well-dressed, always on time, and more experienced than half the staff combined. But she was also the only black woman in her department. From her very first day, she noticed the subtle things: side eyes in meetings, interrupted sentences, ignored ideas. Still, she powered through with grace. Then came the incident. As she walked past the marketing cubicles, a junior employee named Tyler, known for being a class clown, reached over and yanked down her skirt as a dare. It was caught on multiple phones. Sandra froze. Shock. Shame. People laughed instead of helped. No one called HR. She rushed into the restroom and cried, thinking, is this really happening in a professional office? But what they didn't know was that Sandra wasn't just some new hire. She was married to the new majority shareholder of the company. Sandra had never told anyone at the office about her husband. She wanted to earn respect on her own terms. Her husband, David Jackson, had been quietly negotiating a controlling stake in Maxwell & Company through a merger. He was a successful entrepreneur, known in the corporate world for turning struggling firms into giants. That morning, while Sandra was sitting in a bathroom stall, wiping away tears, David was already in the building, preparing to be announced as the new CEO in a surprise meeting. No one had connected the dots. No one had seen the storm coming. 15 minutes after the incident, HR called for an emergency all-hands meeting. Everyone was told to gather in the boardroom. Most employees thought it had to do with some policy update. But the room went silent when a tall, confident black man in a sharp gray suit walked in, flanked by board members. Ladies and gentlemen, the director announced, please welcome the new CEO of Maxwell & Company, Mr. David Jackson. Mouths dropped, some phones fell, and Tyler, the prankster, turned pale. But the shock doubled when David walked to the podium, paused, and called out, before I begin, I'd like to introduce someone very important to me, my wife, Sandra Jackson. Gasps filled the room. Sandra walked in, composed now, but her eyes still a little red. And David's smile vanished. He turned toward the directors. I came here today to lead this company into a better future. But in the last 30 minutes, I learned that my wife, your employee, was publicly humiliated in your office. He looked directly at Tyler, in front of everyone, and no one stopped it. Silence. Pure, heavy silence. David continued, let me be clear. This office will not tolerate harassment, bullying, racism, or any form of disrespect from anyone. Starting today, every employee will undergo training. All complaint records will be audited, and those involved in today's incident, he turned to the head of HR, will be suspended pending investigation. He then faced Sandra, and to my wife, on behalf of this company, I apologize. You didn't deserve that. You never did. People who had laughed earlier now avoided eye contact. Some looked genuinely ashamed. And Tyler? Security was already escorting him out of the building. In the weeks that followed, Maxwell & Company transformed. Sandra was promoted to senior strategy lead. Her new team respected her voice and followed her lead. The prank culture? Gone. The toxic whispers? Replaced by collaboration and open dialogue. Sandra and David never flaunted their relationship at work, but the lesson was clear. Never judge someone by the seat they start in, because they just might own the building tomorrow. There's a powerful lesson in Sandra's story. Sometimes the world will try to bring you down, mock you, shame you, or treat you as less than. But never forget, your worth isn't defined by their ignorance. Because tables turn, respect always rises. And sometimes the person they laugh at today becomes their boss tomorrow. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful and true-to-life stories. And remember, always treat people with kindness. You never know who they really are